What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of AM Training. I have a couple of minutes before I have to go to class, and yes, I have class again. Even though I graduated, school never ends. So let's go ahead and do this commentary because it is week 2 of the Rippler program, and week 2 is pretty much the AMRAP of the last set. So you're pretty much, going balls out on the last set, and let's talk about the bench because I never talk about the bench, and let's try to make this whole cycle about the bench because I've been reading up like crazy. I'm pretty sure you saw my last video, which if you haven't, shame on you. But if you saw my last video, I'm pretty much emphasizing a lot on the bench and trying to read up as much as I can. A subscriber suggested The Bench, The Science by Josh Bryant. It's a awesome book that's only about 121 pages or so. Pretty much had to read that during nighttime because that's the only time I had, even though I don't have school, which now I have school. Anyways, long story short, I am continuing to pretty much get obsessed about benching. So that's what I'm trying to do, bring up my lift. And so pretty much the book, if you don't want to read that 121 page book, which I recommend, it's pretty damn awesome because it's science. But it's pretty easy to digest because it's not like really complicated and doesn't have like different figures, and it doesn't have stupid data. Basically, it kind of takes out the fluff and helps interprets it. He interprets it the way that pretty much a coach and a trainer should interpret it. So the main takeaway of this book is pretty much bar speed. You want to accelerate as fast as you can to, of course, recruit the most muscle fibers and blast through your sticking points. Another thing is that since the bench is a reverse motion where you have an eccentric followed by a concentric, you really want to take advantage of that stretch shortening cycle, basically where the muscle is kind of in a stretch position, has that elastic power to it, and then really take advantage of that. And that will create the most power because of that, pretty much that switch. I remember a long time ago, Christian Thibodeau, what happened to that guy? But he is a writer for T-Nation, or was a writer. I haven't read T-Nation in a while, but he pretty much said that that is the key thing with that stretch shortening that produces the most force, and I can see why, because you are pretty much fighting against the eccentric and really, going into concentric, and you get the most force with that. And that makes sense when you're trying to build muscle and also get stronger, is because it's pretty much the law of SAID, the specific adaptation to impose demand. So basically that's fancy ass French words for saying that pretty much if you put your muscle through the time under tension, it will get stronger, it will try to adapt to it. So that's the best way to pretty much get stronger, is to make it adapt. So he also said not only to take advantage of the stretch shortening cycle, which is why I'm doing the touch and go bench press. My last cycle of Rippler, I was doing just kind of that pause because it's very specific. I'm a competitive powerlifter, so you want to compete in things that you're going to be specific to. It's always the law of specificity. But with that being said, I'm not going to compete anytime soon, and I want to build my strength up. So I didn't even know that that's what I was doing before when I had my bench press PR of 335, just because I, touch and go, just the transfer over to pause, it felt right. So then I started to get wrapped up in my own head because I was competing. So then that's when I started pausing. So now I'm going back to touch and go. You also want to take advantage of your starting strength. So that's the great thing about deadlifts, is that you will get stronger because you have that starting strength, that pretty much power from a dead stop. And that is why I'm adding my pin presses. Pin presses are going to help with that starting strength, where it takes out that stretch shortening cycle, where that's a hard word to say if you have a lisp. What's another hard word to say is amnethith. Anyways, so yeah, I added the pin press because not only is it going to help with starting strength, as you see, I try to at least stay within 6 seconds of it. You want to try to go over 6 seconds, but I think I was kind of in a rush. I was working out with my friend and I had to go home, so I was trying to cut my workout early. But you really want to treat those sets of, I think I was doing sets of 5 or so, really pretty much as singles. So you want to just kind of relax into it and just kind of eliminate the stretch shortening cycle, which according to Josh Bryant, he says it's like 6 seconds, but I feel like I've read data where it's like 3 seconds, but I guess 6 seconds to be on the safe side. But anyways, taking advantage of that, and also I've been pretty much listening to a lot of podcasts on the bench press. So one of them was RTS Mike Tashir, and he pretty much suggests that the pin press is going to help with kind of that bar path of that bench press. But anyways, other than that, stay tuned. 35 for my high bar squat compared to my 500 squat for low bar. So I am bringing that up, trying to bring out the quads. I'm still keeping the front squat because I feel like that is a major weakness for me. Deadlift, I am still keeping the sumo and the sumo and conventional being kind of my accessory work for the sumo.